G'day guys, welcome back to the Fon Supercoach YouTube channel. Today we will be reviewing round 16. There's not a lot of strategy talk left to be had, so it'll probably be a bit of a quicker episode. But let's get into it. This week I scored 1,963 in what should have been a much stronger week for me because I had, I think, 20 premiums playing. So yeah, pretty sad with that. A lot of poor premium scores, which we'll get into. It was enough to move me up 41 ranks, so it was a pretty tough week for a lot of people. So I guess it's good that I was able to move up, but yeah, would have liked a little bit more. The main ones that I didn't have, like I didn't have Grundy, who for some reason, like a lot of really high ranked players, I say that, but Grundy's a good own, particularly when I have Tom de Koning, who's just checked out and struggling. I don't have Jordan Clark, which is hurting me this week, and I think last week as well Jordan Clark went quite well, so that's been a little bit tough. And Rowan Marshall's the other one who went berserk, and Luke Jackson, who's going to kill me every week, but we spoke about that last week. Starting in defence, Bailey Dale. I haven't watched this game yet. I will watch it, but I don't really have anything to say from that. All I will say is a 99 from Dale at the SCG, which I think is his last bad ground slash matchup left. He's still got the Gabba. He should be okay on the G. So yeah, I'm taking this very, very well. 99, we'll cop that. Rosie, or 150. Who was he playing against? I can't remember. I think it was Carlton. Yeah, Carlton. Yeah, he was really good. I really love Rosie off halfback. Just as a player, I think he's got all the attributes to be a good halfback. And it was good to see him cash in a matchup where Port Adelaide were very dominant. Sinclair just went missing in the first half, particularly the first quarter. I don't know what's happened to Sinclair, but for some reason he has been very ineffective the last couple of weeks in two good matchups. We do have a little bit of a Marvel run here from the end. Obviously, this Geelong game is going to be tough. I hope you guys can see that. But Richmond and Giants and Engie probably isn't going to be the end of the world. And then Dorco and Whitfield didn't play. Worth noting, Whitfield is going to miss this week. So normally when I would like to be looping McCarthy with McKercher or Chera, I will be fielding McCarthy this week as my 23rd. Then McKercher or 108. I didn't watch the first half of this game, but good score against a side that absolutely belted Hawthorn. I do think that McKercher is going to be a really good halfback flanker. But some of his kicks just, I don't know if it's him biting off a kick that's too difficult, but he has some horrible kicks sometimes. But as I said, didn't watch this game, so I can't really comment on that this week. And then Sarong and Brayshaw with 84s. I don't know what... Watching this Freo St Kilda game, it looks like Ross's strategy against Freo is to just stick heaps of players around the ball so that they can't get like a lot of space in the contest and can't work their way out to the outside. I haven't had too much of a deep dive into Freo's game plan on why that is so effective, but it is very effective at limiting Sarong and Brayshaw's output. They did this in the game at Marvel this year as well against Freo, but unfortunately for them, they didn't win this time. So I would say that Ross would take a 2-goal loss to Freo on the back of these tactics. I think he would suggest they were a win. So it's interesting. It looks like Freo, even if the Saints should be a good matchup, are going to struggle against the Saints with these tactics going forward. So as I've said the last couple of weeks, I'm really planning for next year because I'm about 1,200 points behind first, so I can't win. But that's something worth considering for next year, that the Freo mids struggle against St Kilda. It's a bit of a weird quirk, and I don't know if it'll persist next year, but good to have in the back of mind. Butters against Carlton was getting tagged a little bit, but fought through the tag. Carlton were insipid on I think it was Thursday, so yeah, it's what it is. We take that with Butters. Nick, 131, would have liked a little bit more, but I won't get greedy. Did consider taking Dawson over this, but decided I should take a 131, even though I think it is lowering my captain's average for this year, which I think that's why I've had such a good year with some pretty poor picks and some bad rookie roulette misses. But Dagos was quite good. Dawson was okay. Had some the kick off the ground, insufficient intent is just, it's the hardest watch, and Dawson loves kicking it off the ground for some reason. All of his kicks along the ground end up in clangers. At least one clanger, it feels like, because you get two clangers if you kick it and it goes insufficient intent. For those who weren't aware of that, strange quirk with how Champion Data records clangers. You would think that a insufficient intent would result in the same amount as an out on the full, but I think for some reason out on the full isn't counted as a clanger, even though it's a free against. So you only get the turnover clanger for out on the full, but for insufficient intent, it's a free against and a clanger kick, so you get 2 clangers. I don't know, that doesn't make sense to me. I don't know why it wasn't changed. I know that JD was very big on trying to get that changed at some point, either last season or in the off-season this year. It doesn't make sense to me. It shouldn't make sense to anyone, so hopefully they do fix that next year. But yeah, Dawson was fine. We take a 112. Want a bit more of a cash in against Richmond, but it is what it is. Bont 63, again, didn't watch this, but Richards didn't kill me either. I do know that the turf was in very bad nick, but I don't know if that was a problem for midfielders or whatnot. I think Warner went okay in this matchup, so yeah, I'm not sure. I know Heaney went well as well. But as I said, I haven't watched this game yet, so yeah. And then Chera was very poor. He's had a couple of really poor weeks, Chera, but I think there's a lot of commentary around, Chera hasn't been good enough. I think that's pretty unfair. Chera's been one of their better players this year, so yeah, a bit stiff to see that, and hopefully he bounces back. I was very shocked that Carlton produced that amount of effort after the week before, so I'm hoping this week against Collingwood that they show a bit more effort and it's a better game for Chera, but we will see. Tom McCarthy, I think this guy, but if you have only 22 premiums plus this guy, which I think this guy's a premium, you've been very fortunate. I really wish I knew that McCarthy was going to go so well, because I probably wouldn't have had McKercher then, and I would have kept Gawn and gotten rid of TDK, which would probably, it obviously didn't matter this week, there's 5 points difference, but going through the rest of the year, that would be pretty handy, I think, to have. So yeah, I don't know. It's pretty painful, but it is what it is. I won't complain about it because I am going to need it this week with Lachie Whitfield. And then Cherry, again, didn't watch the first half of this game, but just probably a couple of down weeks. In fairness to Cherry, Hawthorn were very good in the second half of this game at the very least, so it makes it harder to get a lot of those hitouts to advantage when your midfield is stinking it up like North's did. Sheezer wasn't in there much. I know Wardlaw got injured about 5 minutes into the game. LDU is unreliable at best, so yeah, tough one for Cherry, but I am sure he'll bounce back this week against English at Marvel, and he's one that I am definitely looking at. I will say that I did trade Cherry in for 630k, and he's going to get below it, so I'm a little bit upset about that, but it is what it is. TDK, as I said, he was checked out, so yeah, this is a little bit of a painful own. I'm hoping that he doesn't tank too much, and I'm able to get Gawn back in, who went 90 against Wits, but should have has a large break even with Cherry and after Rob, so 2 tough matchups. He normally goes okay against Adelaide, but Adelaide are in good form, and Rob's been pretty good the last few weeks, so we'll see how he goes there. Hopefully he does not hurt me, even though I would love to watch my football team win, and that is very reliant on Max Gawn playing well, but it is what it is. And then Smith didn't play, so used him as the captain's loop. Petrarca, 104. I'm a little bit surprised about this. He did have a lot of the ball, but I think he kicked it like 18% or something. His kicking is so bad this year. I'm not sure what Melbourne does with their midfielders who can't kick in this off-season, but it's a massive problem for them. And yeah, Petrarca's kicking is a little bit of a hard watch. I felt like in previous years, before his injury, he had games where his kicking was actually quite good. It was few and far between, but there were games where he hit really nice kicks. And I just feel like he hasn't had one of those games this year, which has been a little bit painful to own. But yeah, I think Petrarca, as he is at the moment, is probably just a 105 player, which is a little bit sad because I do love watching Christian play when he's at his best. And whilst I think physically he is, I think there's still a few mental demons there for him, unfortunately, which is obviously fair enough. It was pretty traumatic what happened to him, but hoping he gets back to his best going forward. And then Darcy, I think he was on 60 odd at half time. So I don't know what happened here, but yeah, I don't know. Good player. I'm not concerned about Darcy scoring. He's going to get a fill up this week, so that'll be fun. Caleb Daniel, didn't notice him much at all in the second half of this game that I was watching. I will admit I was very unwell on Saturday, so my recollection of this game might be a little bit poorer. Horn Francis, it sounded like, I think it was his mum let slip that he had a shoulder injury in this game, so I'm not sure what that means. I'm very hopeful he gets up and plays, although Brisbane's not really a great matchup. These are the 50-50 decisions that you have in Supercoach that you can get really punished for. I'm going to look like having Horn Francis over McRae, who I traded out when both got injured, is going to really hurt me in the long run. I think McRae looks like he's averaging about 105 since then, whereas Horn Francis is like 90. So yeah, I don't know, it's pretty painful. But it is what it is. It is what it is. That's the theme of this channel. It is what it is. And then, yeah, Rankin 99 against Richmond would want a little bit of a fill-up. This bloke cannot kick goals on the MCG. I reckon he kicked 3 out in the full again yesterday. I don't have the stats in front of me, so it might be there might be a little bit of hyperbole. But is Aiden Johnson injured? Sorry, I've gotten very sidetracked here. Ankle injury. Yeah, there you go. Another one down. But yeah, Rankin would have liked a little bit more from him in this game, but has a nice easy one against Melbourne coming up. And then Nas, really quiet first quarter, but they just feed him the ball so much that it's impossible for him not to score. So yeah, that's why I brought him in, and that's why he stayed in. So let's set the team up for playing this week. We're going to be doing this. I don't know what. Yeah. And then captains and vice captains, Cherry in a good matchup would have to go there. I think Dacos is going to get attention. I don't know if it'll be enough to quell him, but I'm probably not going to go there anyway. I don't love the Freo boys against Sydney with potential for Jordan tag, although he may go to Clark. I have a very bad read on how Sydney are using James Jordan as a tagger at the moment, so I'm probably not the best person to go off there. Dawson against Melbourne, I think will get attention. I don't think it'll be effective, but I think he will get attention, so I might avoid that. I really want to go like a Baz or Tom Green. Baz against Richmond at GMHBA, who should fill up, and Tom Green against West Coast at Optus. I just don't know about them. So I'd be interested to know Tom Green's history against West Coast. So worth noting with this matchup is that West Coast give up bulk points. Okay, it's pretty good. West Coast give up bulk points to midfielders. But there's also a weird quirk where at Optus Stadium, the Giants are actually quite poor generally against West Coast. So I don't know how much that will affect Tom Green's output, but I don't know. It's one that I'm almost hesitant to avoid. So it's one I'm hesitant to go with. I'm pretty tired, sorry guys. So I might instead favour Baz against Richmond at GMHBA, but I don't know if he gets managed in this game either. So that's my concern again. I could go... If I had a Suns mid, I would be very interested in that. I could go Nas against Hawthorn. Hawthorn give up to defenders, so this is not one that I mind. Nas or Sinclair. There's a lot of good targets in the North v Bulldogs game, but I can't obviously go for 2 of them, so yeah. I don't know, I might land on... I think I'm going to take Baz. Baz feels like... This sounds greedy because my captain scores have been huge this year, but he feels like... Oh no, he has a few 150s. Okay. Can probably go there. Does he fill up against bad teams? 130 on West Coast. Like, not really. Like, that's not the trend that Baz has been going for. Filling up on bad teams. So, yeah, I don't know. I prefer not to have to think about this, to be honest. I could go Butters. They're not going to tag. Yeah, but I don't... Decisions. I have no idea. So I'm going to sit the VC on Cherry and then we'll make a decision on Friday night. So yeah, that's how I'm going to line up for this week. If I were to make a trade, it would be based on Horne-Francis' availability. And the one that I really like here that I can afford, obviously I would love Nick Martin. I can't get to Matt Kennedy. Not sure I'd love that anyway. Liam Baker would have been a really good pick if you got him a couple of weeks ago. I could go Warner, but it's not one that I love with high ownership. The one that I would actually be going with is Cameron, who plays Richmond twice still, somehow. I don't know how that's even possible. And then has St Kilda at GMHBO, Port and Essendon at GMHBA, and North at Marvel still to come. So that's where I'd be looking to go if I'm trading Horne-Francis. But I'm not going to do that for now. My play at the moment is to get De Koning to Gawn. I'm hoping that Grundy and Jackson don't just kill me for the rest of the year. Grundy's 700k. Oh my goodness. Tough matchup this week though. Shrek seems to be back, so I mean Ron Marshall went well this week though, so who knows. God, he's got like such a cupcake finish to the year though. Oh. Yeah, wow. Grundy actually made a lot of sense to get on after this game, to be honest. Like, he's had a very soft run. Obviously, this was double ruck, but he still went well anyway. He scores well at the SCG. It's worth noting. He pretty much always has, except for this stinker. Yeah, interesting. Yeah. This is where my my Supercoach gameplay needs to get a little bit better, is with identifying these picks that they're not obvious, but when you look at them in hindsight, they make sense. But obviously, it's no good to detect them in hindsight. You actually want to score the points. So yeah, that's where I stand with that. If you're trading at Sharon De Koning, don't blame you. Errol, good to have him back. But yeah, that's the team for the week. Let me know how you guys went. I'm not sure how I'm going to go to the end of the year, but I have enough injury trades that I think I'll be able to hold on to top 1,000 at the very least. Would love to push top 500, but I don't think the team is good enough, considering I still have Horne-Francis, Rankin, De Koning, and Chera. I think a lot have a McKercher or a Mills. Mills stunk it up this week, which was fortunate for me, but again, I don't have a read on that because I wasn't watching. So yeah. But yeah, that's it for me for the week. As I said, let me know how you went, how you're tracking. Hopefully you guys had a better week than me. And yeah, I'll see you next week. Bye, guys.